Hello, everybody. It's Dr. Stuart A. Swerdlow.
And Janet Diane Moria Swerdlow.
And this is the Expansions News Podcast for the very first week of May 2019. You'd never know it was May because it's freaking cold outside. And in fact, I have published on our OMG site an article about the snowstorm in Michigan on May 1st, which is one of the largest in 100 years. So, that's global warming, isn't it?
That's what I said. At least you recognize that.
Yes. The good news is we don't have to plant any vegetables or flowers
Or anything.
or anything because it's never going to stop snowing ever. Anyway, I have some good, I feel, news I have been waiting for, which is very good.
No, I'll take good news.
I personally don't have a lot of stories today, but the ones I do have are very powerful. And you know that since a year and a half, maybe a little bit less, President Trump has been saying that he's going to declassify confidential information and unseal indictments that will expose the deep state and people who had been in office previously to him. And so now President Trump stated he will declassify everything about warrants Obama used to spy on his campaign, Trump's campaign, and he suggests that James Comey, former head of FBI, was leading the effort, and the scandal will be bigger than Watergate.
Wow.
From the Nixon era, you remember.
Wow.
So he said it's bigger than Watergate, but the reverse, he said. So Watergate was exposing the President Nixon at the time. Now the president is exposing other people. And he told Fox News that he intends to declassify documents related to controversial surveillance warrants pretty soon. And that the warrants are about the Obama Justice Department that obtained, it's called FISA, Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, which Obama used to monitor Carter Page, who was then a Trump campaign foreign policy advisor. The president signaled on last week that a reckoning was very near. And he says he'll go a step further. It was illegal spying, unprecedented spying, and something that should never be allowed to happen in our country again. And he thinks the answer was actually a very accurate one, and that is claiming an unprompted tweet that Obama had Trump's wires tapped in Trump Tower. You remember that story?
I remember that story.
Just before the victory. Nothing, they didn't find it, but this is McCarthyism. So, Hillary, Michael/Michelle, because we know she is a he.
That's what Joan Rivers said.
Yeah, and Joan Rivers died 2 months later.
Right away.
And Bill Clinton, Hillary, you're all going to Guantanamo if you're not executed.
Didn't she also call Obama a gay president? She said we already had a gay president too.
They interviewed Joan Rivers, who actually was my favorite comedian for like umpteen decades. You know, I'm several hundred years old.
I know.
Yeah,
so very good for that.
Yeah. And so they interviewed her as she was going into her home, and they said, "Do you think we'll ever have a gay president?" And she said, "We already have one." This was, of course, during Obama.
I remember that.
And she said, "And everyone knows." And she said, "Michelle is a tranny. Everybody knows that." 2 months later, she was dead. Not a coincidence.
Nope.
Now, exposing more of the deep state, the Pope.
The Pope?
The Pope
Whoa.
joins George Soros in funding immigrant caravan invasion of the U.S. southern border. In a move that many have interpreted as a shot across the bow of President Trump, Pope Francis has upped his globalist-leaning interventionism by donating $500,000 to help Central American migrants stranded in Mexico as they try to reach the U.S. And it says, quote, "All these people were stranded, unable to enter the United States without a home or a livelihood. The Catholic Church hosts thousands of them in hotels within the diocese or religious congregations, providing basic necessities from housing to clothing. So the Pope is giving money, funding, helping George Soros to invade the United States with illegal. And by the way, these caravans of tens of thousands of people, they're not from Central America only. They're from Africa, Middle East, Central Asia.
We've said that many times.
So this is not what you think, people.
Yeah, not only that, but he helped fund bringing them up into Italy too.
Yeah, I would like him to have in front of the Vatican that big plaza, and I'd like to have buildings to house them.
But he said that he was going to house some, and then we never heard any more.
No, he said
remember
like two or
that?
three people in
No,
one
families.
of the Vatican apartments.
But we never heard any more about
because
that
he's
either.
full of BS,
But he
as
brought
we
a
know.
lot of people into Italy, and
Remember,
the
this
Catholic Church
Pope
funded them.
from Argentina exposed and gave up people during the Argentinian junta, the dictatorship. The Pope gave these people to the military to execute. The
I
Pope
remember.
did this.
I guess God told him he
Yeah,
did.
he's
so.
full of crap. He should be executed
Full
himself.
of poop.
So here's my, how shall I say?
Commentary?
No, my solution.
Oh.
The U.S. should annex all of Central America and then develop it. And this will create jobs and prosperity. And then nobody has to come here. In fact, we'll go there.
Yeah. But they kind of did that. Remember when we were in Central America and Bill Gates had given, billions of dollars?
Yeah.
So they're already kind of doing it.
We saw that in El Salvador.
Yeah. So the infrastructure is already being built.
Well, no, it isn't. You remember what it's like.
Yeah, but
it's
they're
like,
working on
it's
it.
horrible.
Yeah, but they're working on it.
Well, coming back to letting immigrants in, disturbing footage of Muslim kids saying they would sacrifice themselves and kill for Allah. Where do you think that took place? Philadelphia. It's from an Islamic center in Philadelphia. And it was from Ummah Day. I wonder if that's Hillary's assistant, Umadin. Yeah. In which young children wearing Palestinian scarves, I don't know what that means, it's Middle Eastern scarves, sang and read poetry about killing for Allah and the mosque in Jerusalem. This was reported to Fox News by the Middle East Media Research Institute, MEMRI, MEMRI, that's an interesting memory, which is a watchdog group. And they said these are not isolated incidents. They're happening in major centers of the country, including Pennsylvania. One girl talks about martyrs sacrificing their lives without hesitation to conquer Jerusalem. First of all, let me explain something to you about that. Because Jerusalem was under Jewish control for the last 5,000 years, and the Muslims came after 600 AD. So it has nothing to do with Muslims. Okay? They were conquerors, invaders who need to be expelled. Now, this Muslim website says that its mission is to, quote, move people to strive for God consciousness, liberty and justice, and to convey Islam with utmost clarity, and that its vision is a virtuous and just American society. According to who? The people who behead people?
Well,
Sharia law?
That's their law.
These are dangerous, violent people who should be expelled from the United States and every country where they exist.
Okay, that's it.
That's all I have
Well, it
for
was
today.
pretty powerful, huh?
Because I was so upset I couldn't think of anything else.
Yeah.
And plus,
Plus what?
the weather was so terrible.
Well, like I said, it's a pretty powerful statement. So I have interesting stories. I don't know if they're as powerful as those ones.
Probably not. You're not going to beat my story.
Probably not. But
But go ahead, try.
Okay. Well, I don't even want to try because
Go ahead.
between that and your beauty, there's no way.
Te absolvo.
Yeah. Well, I just have a few kind of almost like follow-up stories here. The first one is actually about abortion, and I don't know.
I never had one.
Well, that's good. I don't know if you saw this or read this about State Representative John Rogers of Alabama.
Oh, yeah.
apparently, the Republican-controlled House in Alabama overwhelmingly approved a bill that would make it a felony to perform an abortion at any stage of a pregnancy,
Well,
with the sole exemption of women whose health is at risk.
okay, I agree
So
with
the
that
measure
one.
passed 74-3, and now the bill is on the way to advance to the Senate.
Mm-hmm.
So those who are supporting the legislation hope that they will make it to the U.S. Supreme Court and encourage the justices to revisit, and that means, of course, overturn the Roe versus Wade decision that legalized abortion in 1973. Well, one of these opponents, Democratic Representative John Rogers of Birmingham, spoke out against the vote and said some kids are unwanted, so you kill them now or you kill them later.
Right. He's 78. He's senile, and he needs to be thrown out.
You bring them in the world unwanted, unloved. You send them to the electric chair, so you kill them now or you kill them later.
And this person is in political office.
And he continued by saying some children who face abortion could be retarded and half deformed.
I think he is.
But what's interesting to me is he's actually, like you said, okay, he's an older person, and they're saying he's not going to be around long, so they give a person like that this task. And so now the word...
Why is he allowed to say that? And then if I said it, I would be like banned from the internet.
Right, but the point, that's my point, is now they're not just talking about abortion, which is kind of a euphemism, they're talking about killing.
Yes,
So they actually
children.
use the word killing, they use the word children, killing children together. And next is going to be murder, which is, that's what it really is.
That's the next step.
So, but they're bringing this out to people. So that's one reason why I wanted to bring this story, because I keep telling you that in New World Religion, these are the kind of things that will be publicly accepted, and they are already publicly accepted.
I was hoping that you would talk about that story.
Yeah. And now this one is about, the next one is about changing history in front of your face, and I've been kind of bringing these stories to your attention. Well, in Virginia, a judge has ruled that Charlottesville's Confederate statues are war monuments protected by state law. So apparently there's a group, a municipality, in fact, in Charlottesville that wanted to take these statues down because some people are saying they're white supremacy.
Let's erase history.
That's my point. So this particular judge ruled that, let's see, anyway, Virginia law makes it illegal for local municipalities to remove war monuments without permission from the state. So he is ruling against the municipality. And so he's also saying if that it goes forward, that doesn't mean that he will win, but people are trying to say it's that they are symbols of white supremacy, Lee and Jackson. And others see them as brilliant military tacticians or complex leaders in a difficult time. But the point is, beyond all that, in my opinion, has to do with changing history. This is history. So rather than take everything down and then people soon won't understand history,
They won't remember it.
They won't remember
And
it.
then
It'll be
they'll
long
repeat
gone.
it. And then they'll repeat it.
That's the point, so that they can repeat it. So they are pulling the bluff over people's eyes that think they want these things taken down. Now this one I thought was a pretty interesting story. I don't know if you saw this one about Norway finding a Russian spy whale.
Oh,
Did you see
yeah.
that?
Well, yeah, I did see it.
Off the Arctic coast.
It's hilarious, actually.
Well, I don't know if it's hilarious.
They said the whale defected.
They said that the whale had a harness that had a GoPro camera holder.
Right.
And a label sourcing it to St. Petersburg.
Okay, listen to me very carefully. Why would the Russians have a spy whale and have a label where it came from?
That's what it said.
Because it's full of crap.
Well, they have pictures of it.
I don't care. The Russian, it's like Hitler putting a bomb and putting it made in Germany to kill Jews and then drop it. Like really?
Well, that's telling you what it said. So apparently they have a picture of a Norwegian fisherman taking the harness off of this beluga whale. And he said a Russian fellow scientist told him that it was not the sort of kit that Russian scientists use. However, Russia does have a naval base in the region.
Well, duh.
So I thought that was very interesting. And
That's a fake story.
You think so? All right. Or somebody.
Oh yeah,
not a fake one, but a staged
it's like
staged
9/11 when they left the manual on how to hijack an airplane, leave it on the seat of the waiting room.
Okay, so that's a stage
Same
story.
thing.
All right. Then the next one I put under the category of Space Wars.
Ooh, I like that
You
one.
like this one? Okay, because NASA came out at the Planetary Defense Conference in Washington, D.C., the administrator, Jim Brindestein, warned that the risk posed by meteor crashes into the Earth was not being taken seriously. And he says, quote, "This is not Hollywood. This is not about movies. This is about ultimately protecting the only planet we know right now to host life."
Well, that's not true either.
And then he talked to the meteorite that exploded over the Russian city of Chelyabinsk in 2013, which had 30 times the energy of the atomic bomb at Hiroshima and injured around 1,500 people.
Which was not a meteorite, it was a weapon.
And just 16 hours after the crash, NASA detected an even larger object that approached the Earth but did not land on it.
Because it was a weapon, it was an attack.
And that's my point, is that they're telling people this about meteors, where my feeling is it's more about space wars, but they're not really telling me that.
Right.
Then it said in 2018, the White House published an action plan that required NASA to detect, track, and characterize 90% of near-Earth objects that measure 140 meters or 460 feet in diameter. But Bridenstine admitted that the space agency had a long way to go to meet the goal. He said that's big enough to destroy a state in the United States of America and big enough to destroy an entire European country.
Well, I don't. But that's not. Well, that's.
But that's what's coming out of NASA, so that's what makes me think this is in preparation for a space war.
Well, I told you about
Or it's
that.
already happening,
I told
let's
you
say.
about that a long time ago.
So it's already happening. And then, not only that, this was interesting because NASA has awarded a private contract to Elon Musk's SpaceX.
Elon.
That will see the company provide launch services for the agency's Double Asteroid Redirection Test, or DART mission.
Yeah, I trust him like I trust my, dirty laundry.
Well, guess what? They're giving him $69 million to do this.
Of course they do.
And the launch is expected
69.
69.
Sexual ritual.
Yeah. Expected to launch in 2021, which will test the Earth's capability of deflecting an asteroid by colliding a spacecraft with it at high speed.
I think we need to put him in space, Elon Musk, and see what he can do there.
Now, more interesting, in my opinion, on the heels of space wars, they're telling us now that there's an asteroid bigger than the Eiffel Tower that will pass unnervingly close, 19,000 miles, to Earth in 2029.
Oh, that
And
you should
won't-
worry about that 10 years away.
You won't even need a telescope to see it. And guess what they call this asteroid?
Stewart?
Got close. God of Chaos.
Same thing.
Now, this is a 340-meter asteroid, and they've named it Apophis.
Oh, yeah, I wrote about this a long time ago.
Okay? And it's supposed to fly by April 13, 2029. So we have a 13 and 2029 is a 13.
I'll be having a lot of vodka before that day.
Now, the asteroid Apophis is named for the serpentine Egyptian god of chaos, also known as Apep. Remember that name, Apep. Okay, and also it will be, I said 19,000 miles away. Well, it's also, guess what, 31,000 kilometers. That's your 13 backwards, 3113.
Right,
And they said it's so fast it will traverse the width of the moon in less than a minute. And it's rare for an object of this size to come so close.
Listen, they already have technology that could obliterate it if that was true.
Okay, so remember what I told you. Apophis is also known as Apep, right? And I don't know if you remember, but I reported on Apep a few weeks ago. Do you remember?
No.
I didn't think so.
I can't remember even 2 minutes ago.
Okay, Apep. You might remember when I tell you because I reported on a children's show called Peppa Pig. And Peppa, backwards, is Apep.
No.
God of Chaos.
Wow.
So I'm reporting on it again because it's again in the news. Now remember, the Peppa the Pig, a lot of people say that the head of this pig looks like a male private parts.
Right.
Okay?
You could say the word.
I can. So anyway, now it's saying that young viewers appear to be adopting Peppa Pig's Southern British accent and vocabulary after watching the show.
There's a Southern British accent.
I guess so.
What would that be?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but they call it a Peppa effect. And there is a writer and a mother named Janet Manley who calls it the Peppa effect. And she said her daughter started calling me Mummy and finishing her sentences with Peppa's trademark snort. And 2 years later, she still oinks in conversation.
Child needs therapy.
Well, apparently that's not the only child. So I would tell parents, don't let your children watch Peppa Pig because that's Apec backwards or God of Chaos. So what they're programming into these children, I don't know, but it doesn't sound
Well, you do
good.
know.
What?
They're programming them to be robots.
No, amongst other things. I mean, it's got to be more insidious than that. Everything's programming people to be robots these days. Now, of course, we know that your nickname is Mr. Happy, right?
Of course, couldn't you tell?
Like in McDonald's Happy Meals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
they named it after me.
That's what I thought. Well, now Burger King was going to do real meals, which is probably more for a person like yourself. They're going to call them, now this is what they're calling them, and again, this is putting things into your vocabulary.
What?
One is pissed meal.
What?
Yeah.
Come on, they don't know.
Yeah, blue meal, salty meal, yes meal, like in yes, and a DGAF meal. Do you know what DGAF means?
But it can't be good.
No, it's don't give a F.
That's about me. That's me.
So
See, I
they're
named it.
teaching you, and all, now I notice more and more swear words, like they'll say something positive, but throw this in. So they're teaching you to put all the lower frequency words and to eat it, right? So you can eat it.
It's a good thing we don't go to fast food places.
It's a good thing. And guess what?
What?
They are partnering with Mental Health America to do this.
Wait, Burger King is partnering with that.
Yes.
Seriously?
Yeah, and that guess what? The real meals will be available for a limited time only. And Burger King said that it understands that no one is happy all the time.
Yeah, like
So
me.
it believes in authenticity. And they want you to celebrate being yourself and feeling however you want to feel.
Well, I do.
So instead of encouraging, okay, so now that they said this is a natural extension because they're telling people to be their way. So that means you know, they're referring to the new sexual revolution. You realize that.
No.
Yes, the lesbian, gay, trans, queer, queen, whatever you want to be.
So Michelle Obama. Go on.
So you want to be your way. So now you want to feel your way, okay? So it says that Burger King says, with the pervasive nature of social media, there is so much pressure to appear happy and perfect, like you.
I already am.
They want you to be yourself and feel however you want to feel.
Oh, duh.
Now, interesting, I was reading about, because I didn't know what DGAF meant either. I looked that up, and then I thought, okay, what does yes mean? Okay, what it translates to is the Finnish word that means mother of horses. I thought that was funny, mother of horses.
Something that doesn't sound right.
Why?
What does that mean?
Means
Why?
nothing. That's what they're having people say, because this is the way, YAAAS, a
That
yas
means
meal.
mother of horses.
In Finnish, but people don't realize
Who
that.
speaks Finnish? Even people in Finland don't speak Finnish.
I'm just telling you that's what it is. And so follow up that, and I've been telling you about this for years, that they're going to have everybody eating bugs. So now they're again talking about
Not me.
about climate change, which is a totally bogus thing. But now they think that you should be adding insects such as maggots to your sausage and other specialty foods.
Let them eat it.
Locusts, and they're saying that since most people have an aversion to it, they want to like grind it up and put it into
I
powder.
don't care what they did to it.
And they said you can use like put 15% of that into as your ingredient over the overall meal without affecting things. So
It's disgusting.
yeah,
Probably used that way anyway.
probably, and we just don't know it. And then, do you remember I told you about the Extinction Rebellion that was taking place in the UK? I think that was just last
UK,
week.
yuck.
Yeah. Anyway, now apparently Parliament declares a climate change emergency in response to this. Now we have a citizens group controlling the government, which I told you was going to happen. So to me, that's not a good sign.
It's all staged.
Yes. And then it also says the Welsh and Scottish governments have also declared an emergency, along with dozens
They
of
have
towns and
governments?
cities, apparently. Anyway, it says that it was not voted on, but it was approved without a vote. So this means it does not legally compel the government to do anything.
Which they don't anyway.
But they said it's one of the demands of this Extinction Rebellion.
You know what? That rebellion should be extincted.
So the Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn said it was
he's a lovely guy.
huge step forward and said this can set off a wave of action from parliaments and governments around the globe. We pledge to work as closely as possible with countries that are serious about ending the climate catastrophe and make clear to U.S. President Donald Trump that he cannot ignore international agreements and action on the climate crisis because there is no climate crisis.
Signed AOC.
Yeah, so there is no climate crisis, period.
Right.
So that's the point of the news. All right?
You're done?
I'm done.
Wow, that was quick.
Yeah, it was quick. They were interesting stories.
Yeah.
So, what do we got for the people that are coming up?
There you go.
What? I can't read your writing.
Well, webinars that end this
yes,
month.
right, exactly.
And then this month also I'll be in Houston and Istanbul.
Uh-huh.
And then when I come home and you like be mean to me and say bad things to me, and then you
Like
go to Italy.
On our Clear Health and Healing Tour, that registration is now closed, so you've missed your opportunity now and possibly forever.
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 That's very serious. And then at some point in the autumn, Northern Hemisphere. We will have a Caribbean Congress in conjunction with SMOC, which remains to be developed. And then, of course, in September is our week-long class, which I think and hope will be our last one.
And we do have people already registering for that.
That's the only reason I'm doing it. Otherwise, I'd say.
So if you're planning on coming, you need to make arrangements. We do have payment plans, which some people are doing. Contact Patricia, customer support at expansions.com. And then, of course, just to get you up to speed, True World History, Humanities Saga, Blue Blood, True Blood, if you're interested in galactic history. 13 Cube, Mind Control and Programming. Take control of your mind before somebody else does
Before
it.
the Pope does it.
Yeah, or Peppa Pig.
Yes.
I'm not sure which is worse. And of course, we have lots of healing books out there.
Actually, I like Pig with pepper on it.
Yeah, but this is a Peppa Pig, and like I said, it looks kind of disgusting. Lots of healing books. So we have lots of things to keep you entertained and get your mind moving and out of the gutter.
Oh, I hope my mind isn't moving too far.
Yeah, your mind is an issue.
And of course, we do have 3, maybe 4 new books this year. And as soon as I did film several Russian TV shows, and of course I don't know if you Americans can or Europeans can see it.
Usually they can.
I don't know, it's only on REN TV.
Yeah, but usually we get the link and we can put it
Well,
up there.
when I get the link, I'll put it up.
We always do. So anyway, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and get a membership on our site. Remember, we do have free ebooks when you sign up. So a lot of people love those books, and lots of information in there to keep you growing.
And people, when you have comments on YouTube or wherever, please don't try to tell me what you think I don't know. Because I do know more than you. And if you think you know more than me, then have your own YouTube show.
Yeah. And read the books, get a membership, and you don't know what you're talking about because that's why you're saying those things. So anyway, educate yourself. That's what this is all about.
And let me smack some smartness upon your dumb smell. You know.
All right,
Bye for
until
now.
next time. Bye-bye.